morning and welcome to Monday the 6th of July's assembly. In fact, this will be the last online assembly I'll be doing for a while, but I did want to take some time just to reflect on the past 106 days. That's the length of time from when I spoke to you first in a virtual online assembly from my office here, just the day after the government had announced that schools were going to have to lock down nationally. And a lot has happened in between that period and now, and I'm delighted that here I am back at school with the vast majority of our children all back in, vast majority of our staff all back as well, but still with some having to socially distance and work from home. It's certainly been an exceptionally difficult, I think it's fair to say, challenging, but rewarding, eye-opening, and I think very thought-provoking time. I think as a school we've coped exceptionally well, and you as pupils have been remarkable, as have the staff team here, and I know your parents have supported you all at home extremely well. On Friday of this week, we will have a speech day that's a bit different, and we're entitling it as This is Duncan 2020, and it's a film which will be shown from 9:30 online, and we'll be watching it here in school in our pods on the interactive whiteboards around school, and we're going to encourage all of our families where they can to watch it from 9:30. We'll be making that link available to you soon. And then of course our staff working from home, we'd love for them to be watching it at the same time as well. So even though we're apart, we're together in that experience. And I know some of you working parents, you won't be able to watch it then, but we will be available for you to watch at a slightly later time during the day, and I hope that you really can. It's a celebration of all that is Duncan this year, not just lockdown Duncan, it's wider than that, but obviously lockdown has been a significant part, and we want to recognise that, and we want to recognise our achievements. So I want to use this assembly as a way of reflecting on what a privilege it has been for me to be able to record these videos. I do want to say a very significant thank you to both Mrs. Griffiths and also Mrs. Saunders, who have helped me in the editing and pulling it all together and pulling together all the lovely montages that we've had on various Fridays across the time that we've been apart. And with their support, I've been able to continue to talk to the whole school community in a way that in some senses I haven't ever been able to do before. Assemblies would normally be generally me and the pupils and the staff, and as a wider community that wouldn't necessarily be seen unless it was a specific year group or class assembly. It's been really lovely, and I've been very touched and really delighted at the feedback that so many families have shared with me across the span of the lockdown about how they have felt connected, how they have really appreciated the opportunity to sit with their children in assemblies, and indeed actually in many of the online lesson pieces where they've been able to see what the children are doing on a day-to-day basis. And so whilst none of us would have wanted to go into lockdown, and it's been an extremely challenging period of time, and we can see even this last few days in Leicester with the lockdown having to be reinstated there temporarily, we know that this as an issue hasn't gone away completely. It will obviously in time, but we're not at that stage yet. Nevertheless, it has been a real privilege to be able to talk to you collectively and to get that lovely feedback. And whilst it's not my intention to have assemblies like this online all of the time from September, very much hoping that lockdown won't be something we have to experience again. However, I will be using video letters, if you will, during the course of an academic year, just as a way of touching base with you in a less, I guess, formal way, but also in a way that just hopefully encourages our pupils. We know after the periods of time away from school there can be a nervousness and I've spoken about that actually in these assemblies as well, and with the children in the past. And so I'll be using that as a way of communicating, but also from time to time as an alternative to the letters that I might have sent out during holiday periods. So I'm not going to drop doing this, but we won't be doing it as regularly, because I think it's fair to say that if we can move to a more normal working pattern, then that is desirable. So this Friday, this is Duncan 2020 at 9:30. I'm very much hoping we'll all be able to watch it together at the same time. That's my hope, and I think that will be a really lovely thing and a way of being innovative and coming up with a repurposed and reorganised way of having our speech day, which we unfortunately can't have in the physical sense altogether. I'll talk to you about the reflections in the year, so I'm not going to do anything more about that, but I do want to say a sincere thank you to all of you, both our pupils, our parents and the staff, who during this space have been really encouraging to me. I know as a leader, it's absolutely my role and what I should be doing to encourage and galvanise and get people together and feel that we can achieve great things collectively, and we've done that. But also as a leader, it's lovely to get those really positive pieces of feedback. And so for those of you that have done that, and it is many of you, I do say a very sincere thank you. So for the one last time in this assembly format, we'll say the Lord's Prayer together. So I'll ask you to put your hands together and eyes closed. And if you want to join me, I'll say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Let's have a really wonderful final week of the summer term, the academic year. Really look forward to This is Duncan 2020 on Friday and all the pieces in between. Let's make that as brilliant and as wonderful as possible. Have a lovely rest of your day.